Breaking news from William Rochelle. Breaking news from William Rochelle. I said, breaking news from William Rochelle. I said, breaking news from William Rochelle. Yeah, yeah. Breaking news from William Rochelle. Living direct, here we go. Breaking news from William Rochelle. This is something you should know. This just in, don't miss the call. Your moments now, stand tall. This just in, here to tone your mind sharp, your future grown. Breaking news from William Rochelle. Breaking news from William Rochelle. I said, breaking news from William Rochelle. I said, breaking news from William Rochelle. Yeah, This just in, thought of the day. Fresh new mindset coming your way. This just in, clear and bright. New perspective, new light. Breaking news from William Rochelle.
Hey everybody, this is William Rochelle, but you can call me Bill, and welcome to Breaking News with William Rochelle. So, what am I here for? I'm here to tell you guys thank you for showing up for me on Sunday. What a magnificent show. Tanya Smith was pure gold. I really enjoyed meeting her. StreamLikeABoss.tv. Tanya Smith can also be found at Tanya Smith on YouTube. So that should be scrolling across the screen right now. So everyone should be following her. The other thing that I want to discuss is that I need to learn how to promote myself better. So with that said, anybody that is listening to this voice, this sexy voice, please like and subscribe to the channel that you're on. That goes a long way. It helps with the algorithms and it helps get my profile more views. So with that said, take a moment, follow me, subscribe, like, forward this on. Right now, I'm taking life 1 minute at a time, and I've written about it, and now I am talking about it. What does that mean? It means that if you're living any place in the world right now, you might understand that things are not normal. Like nothing is normal. And it's not okay. But it is, because we're going to get through this. We're going to get through it together. We're going to get through it with love and admiration, with a deep respect for the journey of the person beside us, and recognize that we're not the only ones going through it. And I think once we do that, it will help heal us. I ran into a situation recently where I was in a struggle moment. And a struggle moment means, for me, that the positive, inspirational, motivational Bill was not showing up for himself. I was looking at the doom and gloom and the despair that I was feeling in that moment. And that's okay to recognize that you're feeling a certain way. God bless you. We are not robots, we are human. And we're living in a time where things are not easy for us to identify what's up, what's down, what's right, what's left. And I wasn't complaining, but I went and talked to a friend, and sorry about my dog. My friend said, do you recognize what I'm going through right now? And I sat back and I said, tell me, let's talk about it. And it wasn't terrible. But it wasn't normal. And that's when I realized that all of us are going through something, or know someone who's going through something that is disrupting their normal flow, is disrupting their identity, the way they feel about themselves, their ability to pay for minor necessities. So, with that said, it allowed me to bring more compassion. I'm already empathetic, and I'm already compassionate, just as a human being. However, when the rug gets pulled out from all of us, there's this mode of every man for himself. Sorry, and that's not the way that I want to live. I don't care if I'm doing fantastic or if I'm in despair. I don't want to have a every man for himself type of mindset. I want to have a mindset that allows you and I, or me, you and me, you and I, someone out there tell me if I said it wrong, to flow through this together with support. That does not mean flow through this together with a complaint session, because that's not bringing positivity into our lives. It's flowing through it together and uplifting each other and pouring what we can into each other. Now, remember, an empty cup cannot fill somebody else. We have to make sure that we're surrounded by people that are able to pour into us so that we can pour into others. It's an overflow effect. So I intentionally do not, or try not to, use words or make statements that are not aligned with the direction I want to go in. So I'm conscious every time I speak that my words have power. They have power of positivity, power of negativity. They have the power to uplift someone or to tear someone down. So all of that collectively is what I got from that one moment. And in that one moment, what I recognized, and I want to tell everyone out there, listen loud, listen clean, listen clear. Don't listen just that you can respond, because that's not listening. That's trying to get your point across. Listen. People want to be heard. And what they're saying, if you let them finish from beginning to end, a lot of times you'll recognize that right when you're about to just interrupt them was when the point was about to click. And you recognized that we are more aligned than we are different. I'll talk for a minute about my show, UBU Live, on Sunday. I'm having a very special type of show. My platform is called UBU Live because I want everyone to be able to share who they are and to learn from each other and have a safe space so that we can talk without talking over each other, belittling each other, or dismissing the feelings of the people around us. This Sunday, I have invited someone that I love dearly, that I don't like right now. I like them. You can love someone and not like them, but I love them, period. But we have different views. He's an ex-employee that I think I've known for about 10 years now, probably. And he's from Venezuela on asylum. The part where I struggle is that I know what happened to him. Not everything, because he can't really talk about it. Emotionally, he can't really talk about it. Maybe he will on the show. but he's very excited about what happened to Maduro. And I'm not mad at that. But he has nothing but praise for this administration, which I find to be a conflict, but he does not. So this will be a time where I think you'll see and understand the type of leader that I am, the type of listener that I am, and hear someone's story and their reasoning directly. Because most of us assume that we understand why people react a certain way or like a certain person, and I don't get it. The reason why this show will be so interesting, and I'm asking all of my listeners to respect this, is that when he and I speak privately, I usually end up hanging up on him. And my blood pressure usually tends to be a little bit higher. And it's for two reasons. Number one, I'm afraid for him. Number two, I don't understand the thought process. So I've never fully listened to why he feels this way. So I'm going to do it. He's agreed to come on, and we're just going to sit down and have a conversation. We have conversations about everything all the time, except for this. And this is when the phone gets thrown at the wall after I hang up with him. But I'm not bringing someone on to tear them down. I'm not bringing him on for clickbait. And I'm not bringing him on so I can prove that I'm right. I'm bringing him on so that we, and I mean the collective we, can understand somebody else's journey with more love and compassion. It is not my intent, nor will I most likely agree with him. And it is not my intent to try to change his view, because I don't think that I can, and I don't think that in this moment, that's the right thing for me to do. I'm not going to go into a public fight. What you will notice is that I will mute myself a lot of times. And it'll be interesting, because the love will overtake the anger, and I said it before. The anger is coupled with a fear, like, why aren't you afraid? Why aren't you not only afraid for yourself, but other people in the community that are being targeted? And maybe he'll say he is. Maybe maybe that is what he will say, but I don't know. So let's just, hey Paula, hey Damien, so let's find out. Let's listen and let's learn. That's my intention with this one. The other part that I want to say to everybody out there on LinkedIn, actually everyone out there that's listening, I am looking for my next opportunity. I need my next opportunity today. I actually needed it in 2025, and things are getting tight. So I am not asking for anything except, if you're on LinkedIn, forward my profile. I just wrote a newsletter today, and that newsletter represents what I bring to the table, the value that I add. Like it, subscribe to my newsletters, forward that. I am not asking you guys to do this. Without intention. I'm asking you guys to do this because I am in need of help and I need someone to open a door for me. So I've gone through the normal channels, which is putting my resume out there, going through all the application tracking systems. I need to be put in front of the right person that will recognize the value that I add. There is no job too big or too small. I'm not coming in with an ego. I'm coming in with a real world issue. I live in Southern Florida. I am in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale. I can drive to either. I can drive to Pembroke Pines. I can drive to Miramar. I am 100% open. My passion is in service. So my passion is creating, building, brand differentiating customer experiences. From the call center to the marketing to the social media, I have done it all, and I work strongest in building mode. Building mode means that once I get a company humming, then I'm looking for the next thing within that company that we can do together to add value, to add revenue, to add clarity to the team, to increase our performance without increasing our expense, decreasing operating expenses while increasing profit. I generally am joining a company when the leadership team realizes that they have all these silos that are not speaking to each other and they need a bridge to come in to understand what our customers need. That's why my passion is customer service, because I start there. I start with understanding, why are people calling in? Why are people emailing in? From there, I identify the problem, because customer service is not the one generating those phone calls. It's either pricing, product development, supply chain, shipping, wrong items going out. So that's a pick issue. So I've managed all of those things. I have supported membership-based organizations from the top down. I've created the relevancy of turning a customer experience from a call to a great conversation that ends quickly, right? You make someone feel connected. You make them feel the value that you bring to the table as a company. You let them understand why they were right to choose you, because every customer has a choice. And once you make that connection, you give them a reason to come back. Every problem is an opportunity, every single one. But if you're dealing with a bunch of robots, and I mean that as in people, not as in AI, that aren't really looking at the root cause, they're just responding, then what you're doing is you're continuously hitting more people with bad service. You're continuously behind the wheel, and instead of keeping people happy, you're pissing them off and then spending more to get them back. So I come in and I bring the clarity to the chaos, streamline systems, remove silos within companies so that each member of the team, from the management team that reports into me to their staff that maybe two layers removed, we all understand the value that each department brings, and cross-training. We all understand why each department is doing what they're doing. And so that's how I bring what is needed to a business. It's really connecting the dots so that we're running more cohesively and in unity. I operate as a very transparent leader, which means depending upon the circumstance, I do not allow my team to be blindsided.
Unknown caller.
I help them to understand our mission and where they fit into the role of that mission. Give me a second. So that was what is my biggest aggravation right now. I don't know if you guys get them, but it's you've been pre-approved for a loan, call us back right now. You've been pre-approved for $70,000. I get those phone calls at least 20 times a day. Sorry for the disruption. I would have muted my phone. I should have muted my phone. Hindsight is 2020. So I'm looking for fractional work or permanent work. I am best at leading the entire operation, focusing primarily on the customer service contact center operation, but I've also managed the logistics, inventory, business strategy. I've managed the accounting departments. I've owned my own business that made $26 million a year. I've taken concepts and turned them into real life execution that has literally provided millions of dollars to the company that I work for, on top of what they were already bringing in. I have saved companies from the worst by stopping the bleeding and allowing them a larger runway in order to either get a bridge loan, go to market, or to sell. I've been with several companies that have gone from private to public. So I understand Sarbanes-Oxley compliance issues, and were there when they needed to be implemented. I normally am hired for my leadership skills. So generally I get not complete autonomy, because no one has that, but a wide amount of respect and the ability to inspire both the founders as well as the staff in order to change our direction and go down the right stream. So with that said, I'm here in Southern Florida. I am willing to move, and I just need the right person to see my profile, and it will be great. The reason why I have a podcast is it's my hobby. So while I'm looking for a job, I can't just sit there and do nothing. So I created the podcast, and the podcast itself has turned into a life of its own, but it's not a revenue generating podcast. It is really a platform of peace. And it gives me the opportunity to reintroduce myself to the world. It also gives me the opportunity to keep my mind fresh, because I'm constantly speaking to new people and understanding different ways of doing things. I am extremely proficient in AI. I write all of my music using an AI tool. Um, however, I am the writer of the music and I am the producer of the music. So I'm I don't go in there and say, write something for me and do something for me. It really is coming from my mind. Lay the vocals here. These are the words. This is the cadence. These are the instruments I want to bring in. Here are the strings. So it's really more than just a dump and a prompt. It's a production. And if you a business leader out there that's saying, well, how does that add value? Look at your business and think that in less than a year, I've created a platform as a hobby that gets 50,000 views to the channel a month on YouTube, 43,000 views to the channel a month on Instagram. I have 30,000 followers on LinkedIn, and I get over 1 million impressions. I think basic about 3 million impressions on LinkedIn, but that's across articles, podcasts, everything. And that's a year. So if I can do that with no budget, zero, and just a vision and an ethos, you be you, sharing my authentic self to the world. What could I do with your budget, with your staff, to ensure that everything is aligned and that your money is flowing in the right direction? Why am I looking for a job? Because just like most, not most, but a lot of small business owners, mine closed in 2021. 2020 was devastating. And we held on to about March of 2021, but with the soft Q4 from 2020, the lack of supply chain resources, I was forced to make a decision. And the decision was hard because no one walks into creating a business, having that business generate $26 million annually in revenue. Solo artist, solo owner, 2.5 million different SKUs across 1,500 different vendors. That part I inherited. But we weren't the Amazons, the Wayfairs of the world. I didn't have the capacity to pre-purchase shipments from cargo ships before they hit the United States. That wasn't my business model. And I am not going to say that there was anything done wrong there, because how do you forecast and plan for a global pandemic? It's a once in a lifetime type of thing. Although I do find that we're heading in that same direction now. I feel those same trade winds. And I'm not afraid of it this time. I understand it, and I understand what to do. I understand how to navigate. I understand how to speak to factors to ensure that we're getting better terms, to ensure that we're getting our shipments prioritized. So I started consulting business in 2023. And that's after I had privately acquired a 1-year consulting gig. It was from March 2022 to March of 2023. That went really well. And so I said, well, let me try to do this on my own. That has delivered a few consulting gigs, but not permanent. And I'm someone who likes the stability of, well, nothing stable right now, but I prefer to work with than than as a solo act coming in. But I can do either. I would love to be a part of a strong team. I would love to help build an even stronger team to understand how do we bridge the gap of the uncertainty that we're feeling today to ensure that we don't have to cut our workforce, but we also don't need to increase that workforce. We can increase the revenue, we can increase the brand visibility, we can create a better mousetrap together, while at the same time not impacting the current staff, but not adding more to it. I've always been taught to do more with less. I worked for billion-dollar companies that were privately owned, and with founder-run companies that went from zero to over $90 million. And within that time period, we took it from privately owned to public. So with that said, if you're on Substack, please subscribe to my Substack. If you are on YouTube, please follow me on YouTube. If you are on LinkedIn, please connect with me. And if you are a hiring manager, a recruiter, a friend of a recruiter, someone who knows about a job, please pass my information along. With that said, my name is William Rochelle. You can call me Bill, and my final ask is this. I do not have an income. For those that are on Substack, or for those of you that just absolutely love me and love what I'm doing, go over to Substack, follow me on Substack, become a donor. It's as cheap as $13, or you can be a founding member. I think it's a little over 100. I don't really know. I don't really ask for things. So that's out of my comfort zone, but there's a need. And I recognize that people like Don Lemon, who are multimillionaires, and Joy Reid and the Midas Mighty, they're always telling people subscribe. And you can subscribe for free. But I do have a need. So either way, I'm good with it. I cannot afford to subscribe to anyone else's channel, so I don't necessarily think that anyone, or I don't take it lightly when someone does do that. And last week, people did. They showed up, they showed out. It was wonderful. I'd rather have a job. This is my side project. So that's enough said. I can talk forever. Bye, everyone. And everyone have a great week. Go through it with love. Don't forget, if you're on LinkedIn, I've already sent out and created the event for next Sunday. Please let me know that you're going to be there by hitting the attend button, and also forward that on. Forward it over to your people, because this is a conversation that we should all be having this Sunday. All of us. Talk to you later.
Breaking news from William Rochelle. Breaking news from William Rochelle. I said, breaking news from William Rochelle. I said, breaking news from William Rochelle. Yeah, yeah. Breaking news from William Rochelle. Living direct, here we go. Breaking news from William Rochelle. This is something you should know. This just in, don't miss the call. Your moments now. Stand tall, this just in. Here to tone your mind sharp, your future grown. Breaking news from William Rochelle. Breaking news from William Rochelle. I said, breaking news from William Rochelle. I said, breaking news from William Rochelle. Yeah, this just in, thought of the day, fresh new mindset coming your way. This just in, clear and bright, new perspective, new life. Breaking news from William Rochelle.